are a slave to your own subconscious mind. You conquer the mind, you conquer the man. And that can be done through proper influence and proper intellect. See, when you have an inferior psychology, an inferior standard of thought, that's when you are vulnerable to any person with a better influence, with a better reasoning. He can suppress you and conquer your mind, and your body will naturally follow. Intellectualism is basic to every human being. Every child is born with bigger questions. The problem comes when the parents don't have the right answers to those questions. And ironically, most of the parents of this era, they don't have the right answers. And this is when they redirect the child to their own purpose, which comes from the prevalent philosophy. And this era, it's a pure capitalistic philosophy. Children are sent to schools where they are put under stress, competition, and set to a small box of thought. Their standard of thought is dropped so low that they stop asking the bigger questions now. We make sure that we redirect the child's psychology to that of ours without much rationale and logic. Our parents raise us like cats and elephants, nurturing our bodies for sure, yeah, but ignoring our intellects. And that's when you can see our dinner table discussions are dumb. A child follows what a parent does rather than what they say. When a child sees that the fear and fascinations of his parents comes from this comparison game of money and status, big cars and big houses, he naturally sets it as a purpose of life. And the drop in the intellect soon follows. Either too ignorant or careless enough, our parents do not find the right answers to the bigger questions of the child. And this is when the child takes his intellectual hunger to YouTube and social media and sees people like Feynman and Neil deGrasse answering the bigger questions and solving the bigger problems for the world. And he naturally gets intimidated by their intellect. See, no one knows how much money and cars Newton and Einstein had. Because millionaires were not the real celebrities of that time. Intellect was the game and people were inclined towards minimalism. And competence was the byproduct. This is how the Western world intimidated the rest of the world with these great people, with their intellect and their great findings. The problems they solved for all of the world. And this is how it started. This is how the Western world influenced all of the world by their intellect. And it's a natural human disposition. We always follow the intellectual, the one who answers the bigger questions and solves the bigger problems for us. See, we got conquered from the mind, not because of Brad Pitt or James Bond, but because of Isaac Newton and Einstein. It's all the game of intellect. And now when the Western world shifted to modernism and postmodernism, rich people and millionaires became the new celebrities and money became the new purpose. And this is when you can see that selfishness grew at the core of the society and intellect has dropped. Our kids are following every influence. And now this is a failure of conscious parenting. Even our school systems have failed us. See, we think we are smart because we can learn from the past mistakes that we have done. But we are smart if we could predict the future problems that are going to come, that our kids are going to face. The problems we are facing now, in our times, should have been predicted by those of us 50 or 60 years ago, so that we could foresee the problems and chaos our kids are going to face when they will be in their times. At least through constant pattern analysis, and that's your real job as a parent. We are not raising our kids for our times. We are raising them for their times, the chaos they are going to face, and we will be long gone by that time. And if you cannot predict the problems that your kid is going to face in his times as a parent, then you're not qualified to get married and produce more children with the same disease.